Hey folks, on this week's installment of my lesson series, I thought I'd talk about Robert Johson-isms, which is what I call very common Robert Johnson licks. And I thought I would give you guys 3 of them to work with so that you can incorporate them into your blues playing. All right, so to start with, my guitar is in open G or Spanish tuning, which is D, G, D, G, B, D. Okay, and my thinnest string up here is the 1st string. My thickest is the 6th string. All right, so let's start with the first lick I want to show you is a very common intro. Okay, we've all heard that on Robert Johnson recordings. I know we have. If you haven't heard that intro before, I encourage you, go and look up some of his recordings. Crossroads has a variation on it. Walkin' Blues has a variation on it. I mean, it's all over the place. All right, so Johnny Shines also. Johnny Shines traveled with Robert Johnson. You can hear what he did with that because he took it and moved it forward another step. And Sunhouse has some of that type of thing in his playing. And I'm not sure Robert Johnson didn't get some of this from Sunhouse. Anyway, all that is on the first 2 strings, strings 1 and 2. We're going to slide in with the slide on the 12th fret and make a triplet. All right, so we'll go triplet, bump, bump, then 8th notes. Triplet, bump, bump. And at the beginning of the triplet, we're going to slide in. And at the beginning of the 2 8th notes, we're going to slide in. And then we're going to play the 12th fret with those without sliding in, but we're going to immediately start backing off. And about when we get down to the 11th fret or so, we're going to come back on the 2nd string. And then we're going to catch the 3rd string. And we're going to immediately slide down. Okay? Slide all the way down, boom, to the 3rd fret, and then we're going to pick the 3rd string again, slide it kind of up to the 4th fret, play string 3 open, play string 4 at the 2nd fret with our finger, play string 3 open, and then we're going to play string 1 at the 5th fret. And if you notice, I'm doing a lot of finger blocking down here to keep things very clean. But back here, I'm kind of letting things ring a little bit so that they'll ring over the top of that last note. It kind of gives it a real nice feel. Now the second half of this intro is... All right? And all I do is I take my 2nd finger and my 3rd finger and I put them on the 3rd fret on, the 2nd finger goes on the 6th string, the 3rd finger goes on the 4th string, and the fat of the 2nd finger blocks off the 5th string so it doesn't sound. And I play the 3rd string, which is G, open. And I use my thumb for the 6th string, my index finger for the 4th string, and my middle finger for the 3rd string or the G string. Because what I'm going to do is only play these 1. Bum, bum, bum. But with that, I'm going to go. So let me move around a little so you can see. And I'm just walking that contraption that I've made down. I'm starting at the 3rd fret, then the 2nd fret, and then the 1st fret, and then open. And when I hit it open, I just play 6, 4, and 3, and let them hang there. Right? And then I'm going to get on string 5. It's going to have its heyday here. And I'm going to get at the 3rd fret, and I'm going to slide up a little bit. And then I'm going to play string 4, and then I'm going to play string 6. So it goes... So there's your first Robert Johnson-ism right there. All right, so let's move on to the next one that I use a lot, and that's really less of a Johnson-ism and more of his chord forms, okay? If you listen to Terraplane Blues, you'll hear this chord a lot. Right? right, so let's talk about those. All right, so this chord is a G7, and it's a very cool G7, and one that you can get very easily in this tuning, in open G or Spanish tuning. And all it is the 5th string open, the 4th string open, the 3rd string, your 3rd finger is on the 7th fret, the 2nd string, your 2nd finger is on the 6th fret, and the 1st string, your 1st finger is on the 5th fret. It's almost like a minor chord if you were in standard tuning. I don't know if you can see that when I slide out of the way. And by doing the right rhythm, bump, ba dump, dun 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 dun, that's kind of his rhythm. And you see how I'm sliding in and out of it. You can get a real Robert Johnson flavor, you know, in Terraplane Blues. It's great. And all that is, he liked to play open and then have that G. That's pretty much a traditional G chord, but Robert Johnson used it a lot. Like, all right, and all that is you're going to play strings 5 through 1. All right, you're just going to hit them, and on the 1st string, on 1, you're going to fret at the 5th fret, and that gives you that G. And of course, then if you fret at the 3rd fret, you've got that 7th, G7th, and you can go back and forth between them. And you can climb down. 3, 2, all right? And that's really cool. That's also one of the main licks in Son House's Special Rider Blues. And that song goes... Right? So, I don't know. Did Son House get it from Johnson, or did Johnson get it from Son House? It's all crisscrossed. All right. So, anyway, that's that lick. Now, what he does after that, that part is basically, I just take my 3rd finger, I place it on the 3rd fret on the 3rd string, and I either play the 2nd string open with it or the 4th string open with it, depending on what flavor I want. I can get... which is pretty cool. That's a lot of Son Housey type sound. Or I can get, which is also pretty cool. So the first one is the 2nd and 3rd string, and I bend it towards the ceiling. And the second one is the 3rd and 4th string, and I bend the 3rd string towards the floor so that the 4th string will sound. And then Robert Johnson just went boom, and then he took 3rd fret on the lowest, the 6th string, and then played again. All right, whereas Son House would have gone, but Johnson, he liked that lower sound. All right, so that's your second Robert Johnson-ism. All right, so the third one is something you can use on the 4 and 5 chord. All right. The 4 chord in this key is C, which in G tuning happens at the 5th fret, and you can basically bar all the strings. I usually just bar 5 through 1. Excuse me, and get that. All right, so that's a straight C. Now, if you take your 3rd finger and hold that bar, and you put your 3rd finger up on the 8th fret, oh, all of a sudden you got a C7th. You can use that 3rd finger to do a lot of the moves you were doing down here. All right, so let me just teach you that. All you're doing is you're barring, using your 1st finger to bar strings 5 through 1. Then you're going to use your 3rd finger on the 1st string to play 8, and then I just lift it off and play that open 7 on the 1st string, mind you. And then I come down to the 3rd string, and I just keep this barred here, okay? 3rd string, and I go to the 8th fret, and I play the 3rd string at the 8th fret, and then I just hit the 2nd string just on the bar. And then I hit the 3rd string on the bar, boom. And then the 4th string I play at the 7th fret. Okay? Okay? And you can play any iteration of that you want. I mean, it's really cool. You know, you can bend. He bent up. He would play like that. All that is, he's barred here at the 5th fret. He's taking his 3rd finger, playing the 1st string at the 8th fret, and he's just pushing up. Right? Open or barred at the 5th fret, and then he omits the 1st string and plays the 2nd string as his top note. Right? See if you can see it from my fingers. I'll get close here. Okay? And that's all he's doing. And it's really cool. So you've got all that. So there you've used your Robert Johson-isms to go through a complete chorus of a blues tune. Because everything that I showed you here at the 5th fret, move it up to the 7th fret and use the 7th and the 10th fret. Wow. Okay, so you can move that all around. So there you go, folks. If you have any questions about any of this, hit me up. I'm glad to answer questions, and enjoy it and have a good weekend.